Command & Conquer was originally released in 1995 and redefined the RTS genre. Developed by Westwood Studios, the game took an alternate approach on history with the Red Alert franchise and had a more modern theme in the Tiberian saga. In 2002, Blizzard Entertainment released Warcraft 3, a highly anticipated RTS, one that also went on to not only redefine the RTS genre even further, but spawned new genres with community-made maps such as Dota and various tower defense games. Both games were highly respected in their own ways and set a standard in real-time strategy games that would be seen in many RTS titles going forward. In an era of remastered titles and remakes, it was inevitable that we would eventually see a remaster or remake of at least one of these titles, but to my surprise, not only are we getting a remaster of Command & Conquer, but we got a remaster of Warcraft 3, and both of them are releasing in the same time frame, that being 2020 and 2021. So which remaster is the better version of his classic counterpart? If I had to go with one of them, which one would my money be on? Now, before I continue, there are three things that I need to point out about these two titles in this video. Firstly, despite me covering a lot of Command & Conquer Remaster, I was and still am a huge fan of Warcraft 3. I loved that game and played it to death back in the day, thus my love for the Command & Conquer franchise will not affect the outcome. Secondly, I was fortunate to have received a review key for Warcraft 3 Reforged, but again, that will not be taken into consideration. And third, despite Command & Conquer Remaster being in alpha stage at this point, I have only played Warcraft 3 Reforged, so ultimately this video will be more about the facts and what we know as to hands-on experience with Command & Conquer Remaster. It's interesting that both these RTS Titans received a remaster around the same time, and ironically soon after Blizzard announced Warcraft 3 Reforged, EA made an announcement on Reddit of all places that they're working on a remaster of Command & Conquer. These two franchises have been butting heads for a long time around the release of Warcraft 2, but to many, including myself, Command & Conquer was the first entry into the RTS genre. Warcraft has always had a medieval setting to it, with knights and orcs, goblins and magic, mythical creatures and early days of gunpowder, while Command & Conquer focus on a modern combat with an alternative history in their Red Alert franchise. Warcraft focused more on individual units and heroes with their state-of-the-art CG cutscenes. Blizzard has always had groundbreaking cinematic storytelling, while Westwood Studios went for a more tongue-in-cheek live-action FMV or full-motion video storytelling, which had their own unique and iconic characters such as Kain from the Tiberian universe and Yuri, as well as Tanya from the Red Alert franchise. I'm not really going to dive much into the later Command & Conquer games such as Generals, Red Alert 3 and the much hated Command & Conquer 4 Tiberian Twilight, nor am I going to talk about World of Warcraft or Blizzard as a whole. Instead, I want to focus on Warcraft 3 Reforged and Command & Conquer Remaster. So what is all included in each package? Warcraft 3 Reforged is priced at $29.99 and includes Warcraft 3 as well as its award-winning expansion pack, The Frozen Throne. There is also a Spoils of War edition, or deluxe edition if you will, priced at $39.99, which includes a bunch of in-game bonuses for not only Warcraft 3 but for some of Blizzard's other titles as well. Additionally, there was a collector's edition release which was priced at around $300 I think, which also included a statue of Arthas as well as postcards, but that was released for China only. You can however buy it on eBay if you're willing to fork out the cash. Command & Conquer Remaster does not have a price attached to it at the time of this video, but my guess is that it would be priced at around $39.99. Not only is it confirmed that the remaster would include 2 games, that being Command & Conquer Tiberian Dawn as well as Red Alert, but it will also include their respective expansion packs as well, the covert operations for Command & Conquer Tiberian Dawn and Counter-Strike, as well as the aftermath for Red Alert. That is a staggering 5 titles included compared to Warcraft 3 Reforged, which is only essentially 2 titles. No word has been given by EA about different editions of Command & Conquer Remaster, nor has any pre-order bonus been announced. Now, many might argue that Warcraft 3 has 4 different campaigns, that being Undead, Night Elves, Humans and Orcs, whereas Command & Conquer only has Nod and GDI, but to that statement you could also say that with the addition of Red Alert, it is also 4 as Red Alert as the Allied and Soviet campaigns in addition to the Nod and GDI, which makes it equal to Warcraft 3 Reforged. With remastered titles, what is often important is the new additions, but more importantly how they keep the game feeling like its classical counterpart. Currently, much has been said about Command & Conquer Remaster and very little has been shown, although that what has been shown is very promising. Jim Vasella, producer at EA Games and who is essentially the voice behind Command & Conquer Remaster at this point, has promised fans that this game will stay true to its original counterpart. Reworked for 4K visuals, the game will use some of the original DNA code that was used in 1995 versions to stay as authentic as possible and maintain the feel of Command & Conquer. EA is currently collaborating with Petroglyph Games, a studio founded by ex-Westwood Studios staff, to create Command & Conquer Remaster. Not only do they have a lot of the original people working on this game, but they also have Lemon Sky Studios, who worked on games such as Uncharted Lost Legacy, working on the art side of things. Frank Kaplacki, who originally worked on the audio, is also returning to rework most of the music and audio within the game. Many of the original AI issues and pathfinding troubles will also be reworked and fixed, in addition to the new and improved UI that will feel familiar but yet fresh. However, one of the biggest features of Command & Conquer Remaster is not only the ability to zoom in and out, but to switch out to the classic version on the fly. Yes, at any time while playing and with a tap of a button, you can switch to the original assets, which will give you a clear indication of what exactly has changed. This is something many remastered titles include, and I'm happy to see it within this game. Warcraft 3 Reforged can also do this, but it doesn't exactly work the same. Yes, you can switch out between Reforged and Classic look, but you'll need to go through a couple of steps to do so, and for some odd reason, save data is saved differently from Reforged to Classic. Yes, that does mean if you play the game on Classic look and want to switch to Reforged, then it'll create new save data and thus you'll have to start over. I'm baffled as to why Blizzard made this choice, and EA is clearly doing it the right way. Now, one major concern of fans is the fact that this is EA after all, and we know how they are with microtransactions and loot boxes. Jim Vasella quickly addressed that on Reddit, stating that there will be no loot boxes or microtransactions at all. There has also been talks about multiplayer being reworked for a more modern audience and hints of the map editor returning, but nothing official has been said until recently, where EA and Jim Vasella made a very lengthy post on Reddit about the multiplayer aspect of Command & Conquer Remaster. The recent news update regarding the multiplayer confirmed a couple of modes, and Jim Vasella said that the multiplayer has been rebuilt for the remaster. Dedicated servers will run on Petroglyph's architecture, which has been proven to work with their past games. Players can host and join custom games, quick match 1v1 being introduced to Tiberian Dawn and Red Alert, game lobby chats, ladders, game replays, and even an observer mode for shoutcasters. EA is really pulling out all the magic for this title, and it trumps every aspect of how multiplayer components are for Warcraft 3 Reforged. As we know, that was handled very poorly. Blizzard have also reworked the online portion of Warcraft 3 for Reforged, but unfortunately it wasn't what the fans wanted. In fact, the new client for Reforged has actually even replaced the original online client of Warcraft 3, so if you're planning to stick to the original copy, then you'll still be forced to use the new client, which many say is a downgrade. Many features are now missing, such as cross-region play, custom campaigns, clans, ladder and rank matches, but to name a few. Looking deeper into this, even more has been removed since the 2018 update, and fans are definitely not happy about this. Warcraft 3 Reforged was supposed to have been more of a reimagining than a simple remaster. Pete Stillwell from Blizzard described it as a reimagining and that they really want to push this title to the max, stating, quote, "Let's get it to be perfectly balanced as StarCraft. Let's add more to the editor, because it's already powerful, and like a good Blizzard game, it's easy to learn, difficult to master, but let's also make it even deeper." End quote. When the initial trailer dropped, so did my jaw, all the way to the floor. It wasn't simply just going to make the game look pretty or do a few balances, it was a complete overhaul of Warcraft 3. They even planned to tweak some story, which essentially retcons a lot of the MMO content and additionally redo some voice work. They blew everybody away with a reworked cutscene, and I knew at that point that Warcraft 3 Reforged was clearly how a remaster should be done, that this was going to revive an entire RTS genre. That all changed when Warcraft 3 Reforged released on January 28, 2020. At the start of the game, you'll immediately notice a fresh look, almost like a fresh coat of paint. Animations has been updated, hero portraits redone, and character models reworked. Well, mostly hero units. Some voice work has also been tweaked, but some of them feels a bit off and doesn't match the settings properly. If you zoom in completely, then you can really take in the new 4K visuals, but it's hardly the way you play, and to be frank, it doesn't take you long to get over this new visual look. The intro cinematic has been completely redone, but that was the only one. You'd think when they announced it back in 2018 that Blizzard would redo all of the cinematics, but it's only the intro. It feels rather odd to have a 2020 intro cinematics brought down by the rest of the cinematics which was created back in 2002. It's not to say that they are bad, but it would have been better if Blizzard had stuck to one or the other. You can switch out between a new look and old look as mentioned, and custom matches are still there, although Blizzard has a strict new clause which states that any custom match created is completely owned by Blizzard. Which means that if anybody created a groundbreaking mode that becomes as popular as Dota, Blizzard can easily sell it and claim it for themselves. Not only that, but the game is full of glitches and bugs in addition to the problematic Battle.net client that has completely replaced the old one. Most of the initial announcements and promises never even made it into Reforged. Just look at this video by IGN where they compare the original announcements to the final version.
Glad you could make it, Uther.
Watch your tone with me, boy. You may be the prince, but I'm still your superior as a paladin.
As if I could forget. Listen, Uther. There's something about the plague you should know. Oh no. We're too late. These people have all been infected. They may look fine now, but it's just a matter of time before they turn into the undead. This entire city must be purged.
What? How can you even consider that? There's got to be some other way.
Damn it, Uther. As your future king, I order you to purge this city.
You are not my king yet, boy. Nor would I obey that command even if you were.
Then I must consider this an act of treason.
Treason? Have you lost your mind, Arthas?
At the end, Warcraft 3 Reforged feels more like a port than a remaster and definitely does not feel like a reimagining of this game. Currently it is sitting at 0.5 on Metacritic, the lowest any game has ever received. Now don't get me wrong, this does not mean that Command & Conquer Remaster will be a masterpiece when it releases. We know that this is EA after all, and EA has pulled the rug under gamers, especially with the more recent Anthem. Just look at the E3 announcement compared to the final game and you'll know what I mean. But there was hardly any of the original staff that made Warcraft 3 working on Reforged, and it ended up being more of a nostalgic cash grab. With Command & Conquer Remaster, you have Petroglyph highly involved with the development, who mostly consist of ex-Westwood Studios staff, you know, the people who made the original Command & Conquer. Aside from the amount of content you'll receive, the passion from the developers, original composers, and voice actors returning to re-record audio, it just seems that EA is putting much more effort behind Command & Conquer Remaster than Blizzard ever did for Warcraft 3 Reforged, and therefore I'd say that it will end up being a much better remaster than Warcraft 3 Reforged could have ever been. Who would have thought that EA will be bringing out a better quality product than Blizzard? Although that could all change when Command & Conquer Remaster eventually releases. I wanted these two titans to revive the RTS genre in a way like never before, but sadly one of them has left a sour taste in the mouths of many, which will undoubtedly affect the way people will not only look at remastered titles, but more specifically Command & Conquer Remaster. Overall, the developers seem to be putting more love and attention into Command & Conquer Remaster, and I honestly hope that when it finally releases, I don't have to make a video stating just how wrong I was. EA, please don't screw this up. As I stated in the beginning of this video, I say all of this not having played Command & Conquer Remaster yet, but it is clear that fans are not happy with Warcraft 3 Reforged, and it seems that not only is the community feeling very positive towards EA, but currently Command & Conquer Remaster is clearly the better option. But time will tell. Sooner or later, time will tell.
Time will tell. Sooner or later, time will tell.
We are going to have to act if we want to live in a different world.
But that was just my thought on this, but what do you think? Will EA bring out Command & Conquer Remaster the way they did with Anthem, or will this truly be the beginning of a new life for the Command & Conquer franchise? Did you purchase Warcraft 3 Reforged, and if so, what were your thoughts on it? Drop your thoughts in the comment below, and for more gaming content, check out the rest of my channel. And if you enjoyed this video, then give me a thumbs up. If you dislike it, then give me a thumbs down. But please tell me why so I can improve my videos. My name is Frank, I'm the RedTieGuy, and frankly, thank you for watching. Catch you guys in the next video.